Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and if you got to see the Periscope stream, you saw me cursing out my buddy Joe, who's sitting right over here, and if not, we did it right, and you're on YouTube, and the reason we didn't do a thumbnail is kind of an impromptu broadcast, trying to get Kara Castronova on. She's down at a protest in Union Square. I sent her the link. I tried getting at her on Skype. I can't guarantee she's going to be able to make it. I don't know. But what we do have is the Scanoni.
The next best thing.
Why is it doubling down? What's behind you now? Oh, God. Gosh dang it. I just can't win, right?
Doing it live already, man.
But how did that... What is this, like, in the background up behind you? I can grab that, but I can't grab the other thing. So I grab you. Sorry, guys, we're doing it live. And then desktop... Who put that there? I guess it was there before and it just came back, but it's gone now. I got a text back. Let's see. Maybe that's Kara. Nope. Nope. So, Joe, another night out on the town of Iowa, and then we were just over at the mall. Thoughts?
Oh, man, it's like a little slice of freedom. Little slice of heaven. You know, we were down at the, the North
Park Mall.
North Park Mall. In Iowa, and what is that, Davenport, right?
Yeah, Davenport.
Davenport, yeah, and it was just, there was a little bit of a masquerade, but people interacting, going about their business, and it felt nice. And there's actually quite a few people without masks on, but, definitely different from the city.
So much different. And last night we went out to a place called The Office in downtown Davenport. It was next to another bar. Can we talk about the normalcy there?
That's something that I'd rather talk about.
Go ahead.
So the bar that we went to last night was a nice little, not too divey bar. Actually, pretty
clean for a dive bar.
Yeah, pretty welcoming kind of place, and not a mask in sight.
No, everybody that walked in with a mask, they were the outsiders.
Yeah.
Anybody that did, they kind of looked around like, well, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And most of them didn't stick around more than like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, the ones that walked in with the mask did one of two things. They were either elated to see that they could remove the face muzzle, or they were shocked and appalled and went back outside.
Yes.
But everyone, I kid you not, everyone in there when we walked in was having a grand old time maskless.
Yes, completely maskless. So we're going to talk about protests and programming and just about anything that we want to talk about. I do want to remind everybody that not only are we fully demonetized on YouTube, but yes, it's official. GoFundMe has kicked my campaign to the curb. It is ridiculous. It is unfounded. Basically, I went through their terms of service, and what they said was a violation. And they don't give you anything, but there's literally a clause. And we'll probably read the whole thing on air later tonight when I do an Ask Me Anything, where they can just arbitrarily decide anybody is inappropriate.
Yeah,
for
totally
any reason
wild.
whatsoever. So they gave me no reason. GoFundMe, I don't think they're going to refund everybody because they processed a bunch of payments. But if you donated to me in the last several days, I think 3 or 4 days, you're probably getting a refund. I saw one email on a refund. It's so funny because all my other campaigns, I leave them up 6 months at a time in case somebody comes across one of my older videos, and wants to just plunk down and hit it, it makes it easy. And those campaigns are still up, but they're probably going to be inactive and taken down soon. So I had to start a new mechanism because I'll never use GoFundMe again. And I know people warned me, but we did it for 1.5 years, guys. I mean, you got to admit that. Mm-hmm. So we now have a Go Get Funding. And the Go Get Funding gives you a couple ways to donate. I know one of them is PayPal. The other is Stripe. Yeah, but I think that Stripe accepts any kind of a credit card or any of that stuff too.
Yeah, I've never used it, but it's like the PayPal alternative.
Yeah, it seems like it's a PayPal alternative. So through Stripe and PayPal, Go Get Funding is the new way I'm going to be doing this every month. They're not going to stop me. I'm going to find a way. It's probably that next step for me to be completely deplatformed, right?
Yeah.
And I do want to mention to people when we're talking about deplatforming and all that good stuff, that over on Twitter, you can see all the documentary films, but guys, I literally lost 2,000 or about 10% of my followers. About 2,000 plus followers, about 10% over the last week and a half since the Capitol incident when they just started eviscerating accounts.
Yeah.
And they're pretty open about it, man. They say that this is going to go on through the inauguration, right? And as you know, Joe, the inauguration looks pretty militarized. Well, you can. Thumbs it up, subscribe, share, join the Burmese Brigade. And remember to Rockfin, and maybe Rockfin. I will be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, exclusively on Rockfin, rockfin.com/Jason Burmese. Guys, we are historically only 64, Joe, only 64 followers away from 10,000.
Yeah.
On an alternative platform that not many people know about. So I want to thank the Burmese Brigade for that. That is a big achievement. And that shows you that you don't need to go with the official programming out there. It kind of shocks me, you know. YouTube, for instance, Joe, they really tried to sell you on the premium service, right?
Yeah.
Now they're moving more towards YouTube TV and not so much trying to compete with Netflix. And like their best show by far was Cobra Kai, right? And then what happened?
Well, I didn't actually watch Cobra Kai yet.
Yeah.
But I think they're competing heavily with a lot of the other streaming services right now, the YouTube TV. So.
Yeah, but they're only competing with the live TV ones like Sling. It doesn't look like they could muster up the nutsack to go up against, you know, and this is it's not a company, guys. It's the NSA. You know, that's what it is. YouTube is Google, is Alphabet, is in bed with NASA, is in bed with the NSA, etc. But they couldn't get their original programs because they also had that movie with one of the Paul brothers, right? That was the one where it was heavily in the theaters, like they advertised for it.
It was very violent, wasn't it?
I never watched it, but it was the one where you take the test, and only if you get a certain grade on the test, you're allowed to live. And then everybody else is like...
Sounds pretty violent.
Yeah, and then like everybody else is like culled or killed or whatever, and it's like the most important test of your life, you know. But they did that. Those are the only two big things, and it looks like, you know, Cobra Kai was quality.
Well, it's the same thing we're seeing with Disney Plus. They have like one or two shows, and unlike when Netflix, when they release a series, you get all the episodes at once. Disney Plus knows they got people only watching The Mandalorian, and so they release one episode per week to keep that subscription coming in.
Yeah, but I think it's more than that. Like, they also got to understand Disney Plus is also in a package with Hulu.
And
in a
ESPN.
package, ESPN Plus. But then if you look at YouTube, they just completely failed it. They ended up selling their best show to Netflix and stopped making, you know, YouTube original movies. So it seems like they're going to just continue to be a content aggregator. They're going to continue to try to push people like myself out.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about the YouTube TV also is that, you know, you're constantly hearing these stories about people getting deplatformed for violating terms of service. They have violent content, they have inappropriate content, and YouTube movies or YouTube TV, whatever, they have their own violent content. They have movies that are extremely violent on there.
It's all it is, right? Like, it's, listen, man, again, it's all for thee, not for me.
Yeah.
And the hypocrisy is overwhelming on what content they deem inappropriate and appropriate. Everything is selectively enforced, and it's all extremely arbitrary. You know, let's see if we can get Kara on the Skype. We're gonna dial it in. We're doing it up. Let's see.
So she's live right now at a protest in Union Square.
Yeah, let's see if we can get her. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share, everybody.
Yeah, Kara Castronova, if you guys don't know who she is, she was on the show once or twice before with Jason. She's a former two-time Golden Gloves boxer.
No mas.
She's probably busy.
Yeah, it's all right. You know, we were hoping to get her. Maybe she'll text back or maybe she'll jump on. But we'll keep it in mind. I guess you'll just have to settle for some Joe Scanoni. By the way, I saw that Steve from Slow News Days in the comments. He said to fire my tech guy. I am my tech guy, and he knows that. Impossible to fire him. So you want to give a shout out to the Chalk?
He just texted me just now, and yeah, shout out to our boy Chachi in our fraternity. It's his birthday today. He's 34, I believe.
34 years young.
34 years young, and still a golden mane, like
he
no
does.
other.
He always had a baby face, though. He's kept that baby
does.
face, and he's been married a couple of years now too. He hasn't aged horribly, has he?
No, he looks great.
Yeah, and does he have a kid or not? Is he baby time
not yet. But his wife. Shout out to his wife Carol.
Okay.
Excellent woman.
Excellent. All right, Joe. we were going through some television today, watching some mainstream media, caught some BBC. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to do some BBC.
You know we love the BBC.
Yeah, somewhat unbiased or whatever. And they're showing the Capitol. There's a bunch of people out there that are still sucking down hopium at a rapid pace. Even though it's the 17th, and in 3 days they will inaugurate Joe Biden. Let me repeat that. They will inaugurate Joe Biden. No insurrection act has been signed. Okay? Donald Trump and his family are not safe at a base in Texas. If you believe that, you have a mental illness that does not allow you to critically think beyond your fantasy world. I'm sorry. That is where we're at. You literally have a mental illness that anything that will give you a shot of hope and tell you that you don't have to do anything, that everything's going to be okay, you don't have to do anything, that's a mental illness you need to stop. It's not going to happen. No Insurrection Act, no Cheyenne Mountain, no Texas, no Pelosi arrested, no magical laptops to save you. Every time they get a laptop, they cover up what's on it. We could go all the way back to the Anthony Weiner laptop. Remember all those arrests that were never going to happen? Those indictments that never happened? You know what Anthony Weiner's doing right now? He's in Long Island right now, jerking off to the fact that he's going to be invested in the medical marijuana and legal marijuana business in New York State and making tens of millions of dollars a year.
Which is booming right now.
Which is booming.
The Long Island weed industry is booming.
Yeah, so all you people, again, that are so mentally ill that you thought the swamp was getting drained and that magical white hats were going to save your ass, wake the fuck up. Now's the time to have that moment of clarity and say, there is no Insurrection Act happening. We need to press Trump in the next 72 hours to actually pardon Assange.
Yeah.
Because that is certainly not guaranteed.
That's the only thing that needs to be done within the next, how many days now?
3 days. He's got 3 days. He's got 72 hours.
Well, son of a bitch.
They fired him.
Yeah. Twice. They fired the man twice.
Steve's over here. This laptop is different. The storm is coming. No, it's not.
No, guys. I don't know if I'd go so far as mental illness.
No, it's a mental illness. If you believe magical Care Bear potion fairies on message boards are riding a unicorn with a leprechaun on the back, dousing the deep state with gold missiles, gold missiles of truth that will round them up and take them to Guantanamo Bay. Yeah, you're fucking mentally ill. You're fucking mentally ill. If at any point you thought Abu Ghraib or Guantanamo Bay was a good idea to take out the bad guys with military tribunals, you don't even know it, but you're fucked in the head, man. You are fucked in the head.
Jason Burmas firing torpedoes of truth at a wall of lies.
Listen, I'm trying. And listen, I need you into the fold, man. You need to get on it. I don't know if you need to get some brain force. I don't know if you need some of that.
Alpha force.
Alpha brain force, too. But you need something for some clarity. Maybe it's a jog outside. I don't know what it is.
Stay hydrated also.
But it's not happening, guys. Mike Pompeo was never your friend. He never left. Bill Barr wasn't your friend. Durham was never going to save the day. They didn't even tell you in the mainstream media, other than a blip and a boop,
and
about the Senate intelligence investigation that confirmed last month that the Obama administration funded Al-Qaeda affiliates. Only been talking about that for several years.
It's almost as if somebody's been telling you that for the past 10 years.
I know, it's so weird. It's so weird. Well, I mean, he wasn't around for 10 years, but we talked about Al-Qaeda being funded by the U.S. military industrial complex, through covert means for a long time. We talked about the actual origins of ISIS. And again, it was fantasy land that people thought that Obama was going to be the hope and change. It's almost the same thing. That's why you got to be sympathetic to the Q people. Because Obama didn't even need magical message boards. People just thought that, he was Jesus Christmas.
Yeah.
And he was going to come and sprinkle freedom throughout the world. Now, that's why they gave him that Nobel Peace Prize.
Immediately, right off the bat.
Right after that. Speak to your feelings on the Obama administration. Because you were a young buck.
Listen, that was during the time before I was even political. That was, I got to say one thing. I went to college in 2006 to 2010, and politics wasn't even on my mind, to be honest. It wasn't like, I'm sure nowadays everybody is either left or right, or they have some sort of fully formed opinion on what's good and what's bad in politics. Back then, all I cared about was video games, doing my schoolwork, my fraternity. Politics was the last thing on my mind. And that was from the transition between George Bush to Obama. And then once I got turned on to some of the things that Obama was doing, like launching drone strikes. I mean, you could rattle off way more things than I could about Obama. But the more I looked into it, the more I was kind of turned off about by the whole, whether you call it the deep state, the shadow government, whatever it was. The more you find out, guys, the more you're just disgusted by the whole thing.
Just literally. And wait, you mean ISIS is riding around in Chevy trucks with AK-47s and they might be connected to U.S. military intelligence?
Well, they sold it to you like he was going to stop the war in Iraq. He was going to pull the troops out of Afghanistan, and everything just got worse. Yeah. We went into Libya. It was a continuation of the regime change wars. It's the same thing that Tulsi Gabbard talks about all the time.
Yeah.
And just one more comment on you guys that are so you still have that hopium, as Jason says. Just look at what happened with Sidney Powell and
what, Giuliani?
No, Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood.
Well, Lynn Wood went off the deep end.
But that's what I mean, though. Everyone,
I'll give this.
Hey, we're gonna release the Kraken, guys. And what happened? It's a joke.
Well, it wasn't a joke for listen. Sidney Powell thought they would at least look at evidence. At least she wasn't talking about magical message boards. Yeah,
It turned out to be nothing.
Well, it was. That's not true. They just didn't
nothing
want to look at
it.
it.
Nothing came of it, though. That's what I mean. Nothing came of it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Lynn Wood though went the extra mile with fucking
he went
literally
straight crazy.
saying he had encryption keys to high-level Supreme Court justice.
Dare
pedophilia.
I say he went full R word.
Yeah. Oh, we cancel.
But yeah, guys, what I'm saying is that it turned out nothing came of it. No. For weeks we were hearing about this Kraken and how she had the smoking gun, and nothing happened.
Oh, I hear you. Let's see. We got some in the comment section. There's some people that are just going hard on them. We should talk about the fact that I still haven't done a video on Sheldon Adelson dying, but now you have that 57-year-old Rothschild just dying out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. They announced that yesterday. I guess he died on the 15th, 2 days ago. You don't see that often. And what do I mean? What am I talking about? I'm talking about direct members of what I would call rule by bloodline families that die early. Like 57's pretty young for these guys, Prince Philip's rocking what? He's about to have his 101st?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's about to have his 101st birthday. So, Sheldon Adelson was an old man. And one of the things that I'd actually been talking about via COVID 1984 is like how many of these old billionaires have died from it. And I'm like, Sheldon Adelson looked like a walking corpse the last few years of his life. And he somehow survived it, but now he's no longer with us. Mm-hmm. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Like, that to me is interesting because a lot of people don't understand that Sheldon Adelson, was Trump's big financial base. You could see it in the policy. You could see what was going on with him giving Israel, basically Jerusalem as the capital, giving the Golan Heights to Israel, which wasn't them. Endorsing just about any policy they had with the Palestinians, talking about Hamas being a terrorist organization, reaffirming, the Iranians were supporting terror against Israel, having guys like Pompeo sit up there in a stroke fest with Netanyahu, and then later on talking about anti-Zionism, which is, a political movement, I would say, akin to the neocon or even neoliberal movement of the military-industrial complex now, equating that with anti-Semitism, when, again, Zionism is a political ideal set. Some people say that was fulfilled via Israel becoming a nation-state, but others, of course, interpret that as, not only Israel being a nation-state and continuing to be one, but expanding as they wish with their settlements. So I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that maybe Trump's base of people that maybe were fighting for him behind the scenes just couldn't, because everything's not black and white, right?
The facts aren't the facts, Jason. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, you look at how Trump talks down to the Davos crowd. I've played that video,
Listen, I think it's fairly obvious that he's the black sheep.
Well, he is in some respects.
He is and he isn't. But I think as far as him being a world leader goes, he's the black sheep. They don't want him talking about stuff like that. You know, Trump just blurts stuff out. Like, we just sold a bunch of missiles to the Saudis. We're making a ton of money. And things like that. And it's like, hey, you said the quiet part loud and the loud part quiet. So, you know, they don't like that he has a loud mouth. They don't like that he calls out things like what you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got somebody that's a real awesome person in the comment section. He's Dreaming Lad. We're going to give him a little attention. The troll. Loudmouth couch potatoes. F you, you arrogant a-holes. No one's going to follow you into battle. What battle, dude? What battle are you in? Like, tell me. What imagination land battle are you fucking in my live chat? Give me a break. What have you done? What have you done for your own family? What platform have you given to the truth? You can talk about Trump leading people where? Where did he lead them? Again, there were some wins for Trump, but we're not here on some hopium, dumb fuck idea that message board madness is going to save the world. Yesterday, when I was going through our AMA and I saw some of the other questions and comments we didn't get to, we got to NASARA and GESARA. Hey, if you believe that, you're an idiot. You're a misguided idiot. I've been debunking NASARA for 15 years.
I don't even know what that is.
That was the pre-QQ.
Oh.
Okay, so that was people calling into my radio show when I had one for InfoWars and telling me there was this act called NASARA where the good guys had already subverted and taken over the government for the constitutional republic behind the scenes, and everything was going to be okay. You know, doesn't matter. The stuff was out there before 9/11, the war on terror, post-war on terror, post-Obama. People now bring that up and regurgitate it. The bottom line is if you're not going to take action locally, you're not going to take action.
Yeah, and we talked about this yesterday a little bit. You can complain on the internet all you want, say that no one's going to follow you, whatever you want to say.
Uh-huh.
But if you don't do anything, then you're just blowing hot air.
Exactly. And again, I'm trying to organize. I am meeting with people. You know, Will Van Leer would be one of those guys. We're going to have him on maybe in the next couple days. I'm trying to get him into your spot right here. Get him to come in.
It's a very comfy couch.
Yeah, you should come.
Yeah.
You should definitely check it out. He's ex-naval intelligence, very well spoken, businessman. I at least respect his opinion because he's been on the inside and seen how the military bureaucracy works. You know, and he's also, what was it? He was a linguist.
Yeah,
so he learned
like 4
Hebrew,
languages.
and then later on he went to China and he learned Mandarin.
Yep.
You know, and he's got a really great perspective. Again, we're trying to do, you know, different things. Maybe even put up a second channel that's strictly interviews like this one in an office or, you know, a new studio type setting. We're starting small, guys.
Yeah, that's right.
We're starting small. We're trying to go big time, pig time, but we're starting small.
And we're taking suggestions.
And we're taking real suggestions, not hopium ones like, listen, dude, what you need to do is tell people the Q Army is coming and that the Insurrection Act is here and it is civil war via Donald Trump and Biden will never be my president. Like, I hate to tell you guys, but Biden was your vice president for 8 years, and he was a big proponent of the Bush administration in the 8 years prior to that, barely challenging them on anything and promoting the idea set of a war on terror. He is the establishment puppet, Joe.
Not only that, promoting the idea that a rising China is good for everyone.
Oh, dude, meeting with Xi Jinping 20 plus times in dinners, and I mean, he gave his speech in 2016 at Davos, the World Economic Forum, with Klaus Schwab, literally professing how great Xi Jinping is.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair, Trump did that too, early on.
He met with him a lot, but at least he stopped trade and he put him on blast. Dude, you got to listen. They're so starkly different. The 2016 Biden speech and the 2020 Trump speech at this forum, it's night and day.
Oh, yeah. I'm saying early on, Trump was, I think Trump was trying to appease all the world dictators, all the world leaders. So he was telling everyone how great they were. You know, he had his thumb up all their butts. So, but when China started acting a little funky towards like 2018, 2019, Trump kind of turned on them.
Well, again, the trade deals were absolutely awful. And at the end of the day, no matter whatever we've seen now in the last almost 12 months, right? We're running on, It's 117. So now 11 months official.
Mm-hmm.
We've printed more money than we've ever printed before. Some people are estimating 66% of the current money supply was printed in the last 10 or 11 months alone, which is crazy. We never fought the deficit, not once.
No, that's the other thing.
And all of this is pushing us into either a UBI system or a UBI system based in a digital currency, or both gradually coming in. One maybe first and then the other. But who knows? They've leveraged it so they might be able to bring it in at the same time.
We're facing hyperinflation, but who knows at this point what, like you were saying to me yesterday off the air, the currency is basically just a number in a database somewhere that they just boopity boop.
Zeros and
add
ones.
A zero.
It's literally zeros and ones. It's kind of like when and I was doing this on InfoWars 10 plus years ago. We were talking about the special drawing rights units of the IMF. And that's where they just stopped hiding it. And they're like, special drawing rights. And it was basically, we'll just type numbers into a computer and it will go into their bank account. And we're the International Monetary Fund, so that's okay. So, we also had a discussion on whether or not hard assets like gold and silver in a physical form are really beneficial. And I made the point, well, as long as you can trade that for hard goods, if hyperinflation has hit and people can't afford things in traditional markets, right?
Well, it's all about confidence. If you're using a currency, which currency as a concept is a fantastic idea, if people have confidence in it, then it'll be useful as a trade medium.
Yes. Or if there's some way that it can mobilize you to somewhere where you could use it as an even better trade medium, or go somewhere where the economy is normal. Right. And then again, hedge it as a bet.
Like a universally accepted trade medium. Silver, gold, crypto maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the idea of a barter system or trading one good for one service is just an absolutely bananas idea. That does not work. There's a reason that we shifted from that.
I got a troll comment here that I want to take care of. DJ Marks, Jason, you going to start accepting money from the government soon? No, I'm not. I've never taken money from the government as an adult ever for anything. Let me repeat that. For anything. I've never gone on unemployment. I didn't get anything from this coronavirus thing. I've never applied for it. I don't want it. I don't want to be a part of their system. The last time I took money from the government was college grants for school, okay? Where that was just the system, and I was very naive, and you're a 17-year-old kid.
You're going back 20 years.
Yeah, we're going over 20 plus years. Yeah. 20 plus years. So no, DJ, I won't be taking a dime from the government.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said about that. Honestly, Jay, I have to disagree with you a little bit.
Well, you pay into the system through
your
taxes.
You're paying. That's your money.
And I totally get it. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't want their, other than, the tax returns at the end of the year, whatever. I don't want anything to do with them.
I feel the same way.
Well, the other way is, again, if I'm unemployed and I'm not able to make a living, I will do something that is very novel in today's day and age. I'll get a job. I'll get a job. I'll find a way. You've seen me. You know. Yeah. Here's a great example. Joe saw me as soon as I got back from Texas. I had money in my bank account. I'd sold some movies, right? And I'd done it, and I'd lived comfortably for a little while. But eventually, I had to go back to work. When, even while making the 2013 film, I think you were around a little bit when I was doing not only pizza.
This guy was tossing pizzas.
Yeah, pizza, or fucking working at Dreams Park, or later on when you'd come visit,
at
working at a bar.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll do what's called find a job and then work there. And then get this, guys. Accelerate at that job because I'm good at it.
And ambitious.
Well, I don't even know if it's ambitious. It's just I don't want to suck at whatever I'm doing. Yeah. Right? And then I'll work that out as I find something else. That's exactly how I got back into this game. I literally pick up a bar job as my secondary job while I'm working at a tech company that's going nowhere, where I've put everything into it, and we could have taken it much farther, but even the guy admitted later, like, he messed up. He was making his money. He wasn't that worried about me.
Right.
And that's another thing I'm going to tell you. Guess who's worried about you? Nobody. Nobody fucking cares about you. And if you think the government's worried about you, that's the next mistake to get on their dole system.
Even if someone was worried about you, you can't count on that.
No.
You've got to be, the only person you can count on is yourself.
Yeah. It's you guys. So, I'll always find a way. I truly do believe that. Like, that's something, we talk about, and I'm just like, hey, one of the reasons I moved here, like, all right, they just kicked me off of GoFundMe. If they kick me off of every other platform and it's just me and Rockfan, which maybe is sooner than later, and somehow I can't figure out how to make that work financially, you know what I'll do here, Joe?
Start a pizza shop.
Well, I'll get a job, or I'll start a pizza shop or a bar or something that's actually working. And it seems like we've been around here. Those things are actually working in Iowa.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
People are out and about, loving life.
They're living, loving, and laughing.
Yeah.
Living, loving, and laughing.
I could tell you I said it to you last night, but the feeling I got from the bar that we were in was basically just, 2 fingers up, man, to the government. The people out here just seem to want to live their lives normally. They don't want to be bothered with all this nonsense that's going on with the coronavirus.
I think you're spot on, right? You're super spot on, right? Like, and I don't even think they're trying to flaunt the fuck you. It's just like, again, when the people walked in with the mask and they didn't immediately take it off and go, oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're the ones that felt uncomfortable.
I said to you last night, I'm like, man, it feels good that when I see someone wearing a mask, it feels weird. As opposed to the other way around, which is how it is in New York. Everyone's wearing a mask, and then when you see someone without it, you're like, oh no. It's the opposite here, the way it should be.
Well, I'll tell my Christmas Eve story. So, Christmas Eve, I'm doing some last-minute shopping. I wanted to go pick up the kids, the basketball hoop I got, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody had the mask on. I had the mask on. And I look over to the right, and I see this big, burly motherfucker, huge dude, big beard, sitting there without a mask. And I'm like, right on. Mm-hmm. And then I realize it's former UFC heavyweight champion Tim Sylvia.
Oh, how about that?
And Tim's one of Pat's guys, Pat Miletich, who I'm friends with. And I'm just like, well, fucking A, if Tim Sylvia's not going to wear a fucking mask.
Son of a bitch.
Well, son of a bitch. And I'm like, and I'm feeling embarrassed because Tim's kind of a rock guy. I don't know whether he noticed. It was far away, so he probably noticed my System of a Down hoodie because I saw him looking at me. But I had the Caged Aggression mask on too, and he knows the local scene too. And I just felt like such shame. I'm like, what if Tim Sylvia thinks I'm a fighter and I'm just a bitch?
No, he thinks you're cool, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't met Tim personally. When I first met Pat, Tim was saying goodbye to Pat, and he was with like his little girlfriend, and his girlfriend was like this much smaller than me, and then Tim was like this much bigger than me, and I was like, damn, you're a big motherfucker.
Do you want to plug that real quick? Aren't you announcing in March or something?
Yeah, and hopefully you're going to come back in March, so we'll have more of these broadcasts. We get a new camera coming in. Hopefully it'll even look a little bit more professional than it does now. Although, you know what, the way we have a few framed up here, it's not bad. You actually look a little bit better, not as blown out. The color detail is actually pretty good. The toilet paper's in the background with the PS2 games.
Iconic at this point.
Yeah. And the coffee. By the way, 449 watching. Can we get some more thumbs up, guys? I'd appreciate it. Let's see. What else should we talk about? You got anything else?
You wanted to talk a little bit about Assange, didn't you?
I just want to tell people again, the idea that, Trump at the last minute is definitely going to pardon Assange and Snowden and Ulbricht. I don't know that. You certainly don't know that.
Nobody knows anything.
And nobody knows that. And that's where the pressure should be at this point. Right now, that's where the pressure should be.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying all you people out there that are about stop the steal or misguided or you want election integrity or you want an investigation. I'm not saying you're bad at all.
Well, that's a whole separate issue.
Well, that's the thing. It is a separate issue that now we have to realize is not going to be resolved until long after this administration is in office. When I say this administration, I mean Biden-Harris. And by Biden-Harris, I mean Zombie Joe who can't think or talk for himself and a sociopath named Kamala Harris who will do what she's told. And even more frightening than that, can you imagine a Kamala Harris, Cory Booker administration with Andrew Capo Cuomo as the AG? That's actually a possibility. That's way more of a possibility than Mike Pompeo becoming president, everybody. I mean, that scares the shizzle out of my dizzle.
The super best friends. Yeah.
Yeah, my super best friends.
You want to try Kara one more time?
She's got the Google Meet link, and she didn't text me back after.
Yeah, me neither.
So She's probably busy.
I thought it would be cool to get a little bit of a live shot of what's going on.
No, it would have been great to get a live shot. Well, you know what we'll have to do? We'll just have to get her. Separately after the fact. Yeah, I mean, you talked to her a little bit after DC, and she's a little shook up. I guess.
Yeah, she's a little shaken up. She told me she was traumatized by the pepper spray and just how she was a little bit manhandled by some of the police out there. And, she's trying to do what she can, like what we were talking about earlier. Everyone should do what they think is right as far as spreading the word, spreading the message.
She's active, dude.
She's active.
She's somebody who's making phone calls, boots on the ground. I have nothing but respect for that. I will always have respect
and
for
listen,
that.
guys, you don't have to go march in the streets. I mean, every little bit that you can do, that if you think you're doing the right thing, whether you're graphic design, you're making flyers, whether you're a blogger or whatever it is, you don't have to be out there with a bullhorn.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not, they always try to get me on the bullhorn. And I'm all right talking when I'm out there. Great. I'm not Alex Jones. I'm okay. But, that's not, to me, my main shebango. What I like is the one-on-ones, the one-on-twos, the one-on-threes, small groups. Everybody can see my phone. If I go, hey, no, this is a real thing. Let's type it in. Let's look. For instance, I didn't take you to the cigar room, but there's a cigar, club here. And one of the guys I've met out here, he's a personal trainer, okay? I met him and the gym owner. And when I'm sitting there and I'm talking to him, he's from Canada. Now, he moved here, just before lockdown. Literally, I think it was, in January or February last year. And he loves it here. But then he wanted to maybe visit for the holidays for Canada. And he didn't realize all the restrictions and what his parents felt. So I'm sitting there and going, dude, you got to understand, man. They have it on paper that they're going to put people in camps in Canada. He's like, what? I mean, well, just, what do you mean? Break it down for me. I go, no, I'm not going to break it down for you. Instead, I brought up Parliament and that section where you actually had somebody doing his job in government, asking the authoritarians, what the fuck is this? And then having them respond and talk around it as if it wasn't an issue or wasn't real.
It's not just Canada, though. Yeah. I mean, I'm not super up on what all the rules of every country are, but I've heard that Australia is very bad. The UK is very bad. Well,
my point being is, I didn't want to surmise it. Instead, I handed him the phone, and he watched the clip. And I watched his face go from and then at the end of it, hand me back my phone and go, dude, that's fucking crazy. And I go, do you understand why I handed you my phone instead of explaining it?
So what is it exactly? You're not going to show the phone right now on air. What
are
they doing?
Again, we've played it on air. But again, this is a man in Parliament reading the subsection of these re-education camps, basically, or detention facilities for people with COVID or something else. And the person that was talking about the detention facilities was basically trying to make it about people that were coming to visit that needed to be quarantined. But he's like, it doesn't say that in here. And even if it was that, that's still scary. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they use very... I don't know how it's worded in Canada, but they use very loose language in all this new COVID... you can't really call it legislation, but it's COVID
it's not,
rules.
Listen, they don't lose. They use open-ended
That's what I mean.
language.
Open-ended language.
That is no longer even about COVID, but is now about communicable diseases and beyond that are not even pandemic level, that are epidemic level, and that can be selectively enforced at any time.
Right.
Yes.
It's the equivalent of, when you're reading the ingredients on a box of cereal or something and it says natural flavors?
Yeah, natural my nuts.
It's the natural flavors of the government world.
Yeah, natural. So natural.
We're gonna hit you with some natural flavors, Jason. Some natural imprisonment.
Natural imprisonment, indeed. All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap this one up. I do want to remind everybody again that not only are we fully demonetized on this platform, the YouTube platform, Joe, but we've now been kicked off of GoFundMe. The older campaigns are still up. This month's is no longer. It can't be found. We're going to do a whole video on that later. I'm going to read you the email they sent me, the arbitrary Johnny nonsense, why I thought it was coming, why I could see it coming. And that's why we now have a new link. And we got the Go Get Funding. Hopefully they're not going to censor me. So $5, $10, $15. big donors. You mean the world to me. It's how I continue to do this. It's how I'm doing it several times a day. It's how I'm doing it on weekends, Joe. I mean, you get like an hour plus content on weekends from my sorry ass.
Yeah.
Like, do you get that from everybody?
No, I could barely stand you for 30 minutes, but you want to plug Odyssey real quick?
What's that? I'm going to do it all here. So Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture are free right here, right now in the playlist section. Make sure you're thumbing up the videos. You're joining the Burmese Brigade if you're new to the channel. I do want to remind you also that we got a Rockfin. We are, will you be the 10,000th follower? Go make the free account. We go live and free Monday through Friday on Rockfin exclusively at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We'll be doing that tomorrow. Maybe we're going to make tomorrow's an extra spicy show.
Maybe.
And we'll leave it there altogether. If you're a premium member, that's a great way to subscribe and support. And then you end up getting everybody's premium content. It's like a Netflix for content creators. Great stuff. And I want to thank the good people at Odyssey. I thought I had synced up my entire channel, but apparently they only sync your last 1,000 videos. I reached out, and they are now syncing my other 800 plus. So that is awesome, and I want to thank them. And that way, all my material is there forever somewhere on the blockchain, even if they try to censor yours truly, which we are seeing more and more. Joe, what do you got to say to the people on the way out, my friend?
Well, that you gave me an idea. Maybe you should do a signed, like a giveaway for the 10,000th Rockfin subscriber.
I'm not signing anything. I'm not that
That
guy.
could be worth millions one day.
Oh, yeah, millions of my nutsack hairs.
A Jason Burma signed...
Oh, wow. Oh, I got the Jason Burma signed Janet
signed
Johnson.
Info Warriors hoodie.
No, thank you. Guys, thank you for all the support. I absolutely love you. I'll see you on the flip side.